Here it is. Scotty J. Y'all ready? Because there's no going back. You have a firm and feel all alone. Another tax season down, you still haven't grown. It's a struggle, but wait, you're not alone. Berkey built a platform that'll help you transform. There's a better way to CPA, new technology and processes, manage teams and price profitably, deliver high quality, scale your firm, building with limited time and money, keep up with a consistently evolving industry. That's funny. Building and branding can be backbreaking, growing from scratch to sale. Don't sell your soul for traditional, come join a platform that's built to scale. Share strategies on a complex sitch to tax tips and tricks. Dark horse so dope, there's not a problem that they can't fix.
You wanna collaborate. You want both autonomy and support. If you want community, then become a principal advisor. So if you're ready, say a better way. A better way, not CPA.
There's no going back.
Can I call you Randall?
You can. You were the one person that can call me Randall.
Thank you.
So that's no problem.
Feel free to punch Scotty in the face when you see him next time.
Did you try to come up with a nickname and you called me Scotty? Is that what came out? He's never said that before.
You're gonna have to bleep out. You have to bleep out a bunch of other names I said before.
Well, that's good.
You could move Randy to your middle name and change your first name to Eric, and you could be the ERC.
There you are with initials. Are we going to have a theme to this call today? Are we going to have one initial we're going to concentrate on? E for ERC or what?
Ackerman doesn't get all the letters and number stuff. It goes way over his
I don't
head.
have the severe autism that Scott has where I need that. But
All right.
See, autism is one that did not come up yet. That hasn't come up yet.
On your
It might
CPAs?
again now. Now that
right.
you said it. Yeah.
All right.
Hello and welcome. We are all the sons of CPAs. Join us as we question the current state of the accounting and tax industry with the next generation of professionals leading this space. We are all the change agents in an industry fraught with money and inertia. Let's begin the Sons of CPAs with your hosts today, Jason Ackerman and Scott Scarano.
and our special guest today, Randy Crabtree.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me here.
Are you managing partner, co-founder?
I'm co-founder, was managing partner, gave that up 5 years ago, and never have had more fun. So I've changed my role over the years.
I love it. And you also have a podcast, which I read was top 10 in the world. Top 10% in the
It's
world.
actually, we've moved up. We're top 5% now. We're moved up.
Oh, baby, let's go.
Yeah. Goal is to get to 1%, and we do it every other week. And our producer just said, you know what? We might want to start doing every week now. And you guys, I see, put them out constantly. So I don't know if I can do the pace you do, but once a week is going to be the goal.
Scott's basically given up on working at his firm and only does the podcast. That's the only reason why we can do it once a week.
Well, that's awesome. Actually, we
He has
discussed
dedicated
that.
his life to the pod.
Nice.
That's almost all true.
Wait, almost? Was there a little bit of untruth? I guess you were working some on the business as well.
No, not that. He just spends time with his family a little bit.
Yeah, I just not all the podcasts. Yeah, at least I'd spend some time with my family. I got to sleep too.
All right, so you're doing other things besides strictly podcasting. I got it. I have to learn from you.
I don't know about that. I don't know if there's anything to learn from me.
And your firm specializes in, you have very niche where you do R&D credits, cost sets, other types of credits, stuff like that.
All specialty stuff. I was your traditional CPA for a long time, and actually 15 years ago, May 7th will be 15 years since we started Trimerit. You know, I decided to build the niche practice, and it's been great. And the last 5, like I said, not being managing partner, have been awesome.
So what was the impetus for going broad CPA stuff that we do and Scott does to going very niche?
I almost fell into it somewhat, and I get this question a lot just in general, but you know, there's always opportunities in front of people, and I just saw that there was this opportunity to support CPA firms. You know, that's what we do. Tax preparers, we support them with specialty areas. and didn't even know this existed as a niche business. I had merged my practice. So the impetus wasn't merge the practice so we can start this niche practice. It was merge the practice so I could figure out what I'm going to do next. And after a few months, R&D tax credits just kind of started hounding me. And I knew R&D tax credits, but then I just kept researching and saw there was this opportunity to go after the credits, claim them the way they should be claimed, document the way they should be documented. And just from that standpoint, just decided, all right, after about 9 months of research with my partner, Andy Lane, who was an engineer, and that aspect of things were big, and it was just a chance meeting that he and I had, and that chance meeting turned into 15 years of Tri-Merit now. So it was not the plan. It just kind of fell in my lap and ran with it.
So when you were starting Tri-Merit, you already had this other firm. What were some of the things that you learned from your original firm that you took to the new firm and stuff that you definitely knew you didn't want to take to the new firm?
Jason, are you 1040 heavy in your practice? Is that what I heard? Or
Are you calling me fat? No.
Scott has said that before. It wasn't me.
Actually, I did.
Scott said I would be a lot funnier if I was a lot fatter, so I'm working on that for you, Scott.
Very true. Yeah, just keep it going. You would be a jolly funny person. Yeah.
Nice.
We do lots of taxes, but lots of 1040s too.
Yeah, so we built our practice, and it was, we had a lot of 1040s, but just taxes in general. I'm on the tax end of things. I'm not huge on the accounting end of things. I really don't enjoy accounting. I enjoy tax. But we built it so tax heavy that I just started getting burnt out. And so, that was one of the reasons for the change. It was just I have to do something different. Now, when we started Tri-Merit, I kind of looked at it as a somewhat traditional CPA setup, really self-appointed myself as managing partner. There was only 2 of us, but I figured I came out of that industry, so why would I not do that as well? And that honestly took 10 years to realize that is not where my skills are. That is not where my passions are. And so that's something I should have known from the beginning, because even when I had the firm, I was managing partner, there was just 2 of us, 2 partners, and obviously a handful of employees as well. And I managed it, but I knew I didn't like that. I just didn't realize that I could do anything different. So I should have known that right from the start. I didn't. I talk to people all the time and say, hey, when you're starting a business or you're growing a business or you're managing the business, look at what your skills are. Look at where your passions are and just stay there. Don't try to make yourself something you're not. Don't look at your weaknesses and try to, now I'm going on a rant here for a second, but don't look at your weaknesses and try to build those up.
I like where you're going with it.
Yeah, it's just they're weaknesses for a reason. You don't like them. You're not good at it. Leave someone else to do that. You can definitely bring people in to work with you that have strengths where you have weaknesses, and that's what you really should do. Make a clone of yourself. Every employee be a clone of yourself. You're not going to have a good business. You're not going to, when I'm working with all the people in the firm, and we're about 50 people now, somebody will have a difference of opinion, and at first I kind of get annoyed, and then I realize, no, that's what you need. That's how you grow. That's how you do things right, when people have difference of opinion, when you can look at things. And so that's something I should have, when you're asking me, Jason, what things I brought with, those are things I should have brought with from the beginning. Didn't. Took me a long time to figure that out. But if I would have made those changes 10 years ago, would we be different today? I don't know. I like where we are, so I'm okay with the fact that it took me a while.
What about the managerial wise? Like, did you start doing fixed price agreements right away? Did you try to do a different type of structure when you hired people?
Our business is pretty unique, and it's evolved over the years. When we first started, everybody in the industry, and it was a small industry when we started, so we got in pretty early, but everybody was billing R&D tax credits on a contingent basis. It was, 33%, 30%, whatever of the tax savings was the fee. So we were pretty much just fixed fee, and then not a fixed fee, a percentage. Then when Circular 230 came out, right after we started, literally right after, and talked about, I think in there, percentage fees were frowned upon heavenly.
For you.
Yeah, exactly. So we restructured that right from the start. It became a fixed fee, but value-based as well. And everybody should be doing some kind of value billing in my mind anyways. But fixed fee, value-based, capped at a percentage. Fees never exceed a certain percentage, but it's going to be a fixed fee, and that's how we've done it. So that's pretty much R&D started that way, and then every one of our services has gone that way since, and there's 6 services other than ERC. ERC, we have done a percentage billing on that one.
So you guys were uniquely positioned when the whole PPP, ERC stuff came out, you've kind of been doing that. R&D's kind of a similar situation.
Yep.
When this came about, how did you decide, like, hey, this is something I want to pursue, and how am I going to scale up to be able to service these clients?
Yep, that's great, because when ERC changed, when that happened in the Consolidated Appropriation Act, the end of 2020, when it opened it up to the ERC and PPP could live together peacefully, somewhat peacefully, the first thought wasn't, we need to do this as a service. The first thought was, holy cow, there's big opportunity for taxpayers to save money with this or put money back into businesses. And I just got intrigued with it. I just literally couldn't stop researching, couldn't stop reading I know it sounds pretty boring, but reading the CARES Act originally, and then reading the CAA, and then reading the FAQs the IRS put out, and just looking at everything. And the more I read, it was like, this isn't cut and dry. This isn't something that, especially in this nonstop tax season, CPAs had been in at that point, which was going on, 2 years at that point of nonstop tax season. Like, the CPAs are just not going to have the time to do this, and it's a lot more complicated than you think. And so, yeah, you're right, Jason. Based on R&D, we were able to pretty much put a team together pretty rapidly, but again, going back to my skill set is the ideas. It's not the implementation. And so we had just hired someone new, someone that I'd known for 15 years in R&D. He and I started talking about, it was like, okay, we can do this internally. I'm not setting the program up. I'll learn everything. I'll educate everybody. I'll be the face of ERC for the business and talk about it nonstop. But someone else is going to have to do behind the scenes setting up the process. And we mimicked R&D at the start. It obviously has evolved over time. But man, we went from 0 to 100 miles an hour pretty much overnight on that. And I'm so proud of the team we put together. And we still have probably 15 people working on this. It seems, I might be wrong on the numbers. Again, I ignore that stuff. But we probably have 15 plus people working on it. And the team is just cranking them out. I feel like I have to stop at some point because I can keep going, Jason. And if you let me keep going, see, I'm
no,
not
that's
stop.
the whole point. The least I talk, the better. That's people hate my voice, so
I love your voice.
You got a nice Midwestern
He
accent.
hates his voice. People don't hate it. I love his voice.
I like his voice too. I'll go on a limb and say I love his voice.
This is amazing. I'm going to frame that quote, put it on my wall.
I'll get you the transcript of it.
You know how people, like, they print out their Instagram or their tweets? That's what I'm going to start doing.
Oh, that's right. I have seen that. Scott and I were just talking last week. We both need to get better on Twitter, so then we can have those quotes we can print out. So
Scott, like, the first 2 years of his Twitter life, he looked up, you were, like, sending out the weather? Was it the weather every day?
Waze.
No, everywhere he went.
Anytime I drove somewhere in Waze, it was tweeting it. Too.
Automatically?
It was probably going on for like 10 years.
That's awesome.
Automatically, yeah.
So you couldn't hide.
So we've got some cleanup work. We've got some cleanup work to do.
I had some cleanup work, yeah. That was a bit of a cleanup project. Yeah. I never went on Twitter.
Yeah, it's, hashtag tax Twitter is a big thing, and I know I got to start getting on there more, and I'm not.
I've been on there for about a month and a half.
Randy,
now,
I think you're good.
Yeah,
I don't think you need to go on.
It's not.
Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something to be.
Yeah, I'm sure we have a marketing team, which is, again, I'm spoiled. I get to let other people do things, and they are putting us everywhere now. Honestly, and for some reason I've been the face of the company, so they're putting me everywhere now. So Twitter is a thing we're getting on. TikTok's a thing we're getting on. Instagram, we're probably late to the party there anyways, but there'll be more Instagram as well. Even Facebook, which I don't ever look at Facebook, but that, and then LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the only one I've really used and still use. But we're gonna be everywhere. Yeah. People are gonna be sick of seeing my face, I think.
LinkedIn's a safe space.
Yes,
I think.
I agree.
So let's talk some hard numbers here.
Uh-oh, no.
Let's go hard numbers.
Scott's ready for the hard numbers.
Yeah. So we usually ask these are some KPIs. Top line, bottom line, or owner's take, and head counts. And time off, we don't need to ask you because you are living it. You're living the time off. You're all over the place.
So speaking of time off, we're pretty, I don't know if progressive or not firm, but I feel like people like working here. I mean, we have unlimited PTO, so anybody could take any time off they want whenever. Obviously, you need to get your work done.
Mainly the owner.
I know. We don't want to talk about me.
Well, we're talking about owner metrics. No, I know, but owner metrics
the
are
point
what
of this
matters,
question
right?
is, like, how hard are you working? So how much time are you taking off throughout the year?
See, I don't even track that. I don't know because, I mean, I'll be working like I'm doing a webinar this weekend. I'm not putting in, 3,500 hours or anything like that. I mean, I'm probably working 2,000 hours. Who knows? I'm having too much fun to realize if I'm working a lot or working a little. So my guess is that means I'm working a little.
It depends.
Yeah.
Some people answer that during tax time. They don't even know how much they're working. They're just enjoying every form they're filling out.
See, I don't have tax season anymore. Our engineers do, or our project managers do, depending on the service, but I honestly don't. I actually slow down during tax season now. So this is the time where I'll probably put in lower hours.
Well, yeah, if you're doing marketing for CPAs, then this is the time
not to market.
We don't listen to you.
No, exactly. It's funny. I've had a CPA firm, a big firm, had me in their office to do a CPE presentation, and I think the date was March 11th, and I'm like, I was nervous. I don't get nervous going out and speaking. I was nervous from the standpoint that they were sitting at these tables watching me and not at their desk pumping out tax returns. But they were like, hey, we need to eat. It was lunchtime. I put too many hours in when I had my firm, and I guess that's still entrenched into my mind. It's not the way we do things anymore. But yeah, that was crazy to have me out there. And I think March 11th, March 14th, somewhere in there, and I just couldn't believe it. Do you see I'm ignoring Scott's question?
Yeah, we're gonna wait silently until you answer. So
I don't remember. All I remember is the time off so far. Top line revenue for the business.
Top line,
gross
top
revenue.
line margins and
do people answer
top
these?
line, gross margins and employee headcount. Yeah, most of the time they always do.
All right.
They always skirt around the margin one.
Everybody
skirts around the margin question.
So why we ask this is everyone will tell you gross revenue, but no one wants to tell you net.
Right.
Nobody.
You're correct.
Yeah, they're
And it's either because they're making too much or they're not making anything.
Yes.
So which one are you?
We do pretty well. So that's 17 million was the top line revenue last year. And we just had we have a sales call every Monday, business development call, marketing call, whatever you want to call it. And we are shooting much higher. So we have put a lot of tools in place this last year and a half. In fact, the guy who came in to help me set up ERC is now our head of business development, and he is just a process guy, tools in place, and we pretty much told everybody anything you need dollars wise to get something done. We want to do it. We're going to look at it, but we are pushing hard, and so that I wouldn't be surprised that 17 million is 35 million in just a couple of years. We have really good things in place. Yes.
Sounds good.
Right. No, I sound like, but that sounds to me, I don't know. It sounds bragging or something. I don't know. We do well. We work hard. We have a good business. We support.
17 million is definitely.
But what? So
that's the biggest firm we've had on so far.
Tell us what your gross margin or your margin before partners, what you're aiming for.
I honestly don't know. I
percentage.
When I changed things 5 years ago, I don't even pay attention to that. I seriously don't. I don't know. I couldn't tell you numbers. Are
you like my terrible clients who they just get their paycheck and they don't realize they're withholding and then they owe lots of money at the end of the year?
I personally know where everything is, but so Nick, he's technically
who
not
does
title.
Your taxes, Randy?
Yeah, well, we have a CPA firm we work with that does our taxes. I do my own personally, which is probably not smart, but I do. I still enjoy doing a 1040 or two. I do my parents, my brothers, and it's like I shouldn't be doing these because I probably know quite a bit because I'm at conferences all the time and absorbing stuff that we're being taught, but I'm not practicing it, so I probably should have someone else do.
You just get a version of TurboTax and do them all on that?
No, Lacert, actually.
Do you charge your brother and parents for their tax returns?
Nope. I charge him the rep fee from Lacert.
Are you asking me or Randy? Because I don't charge him either.
Yeah.
I don't charge my brother. My brother does our little artwork for this podcast, but I don't charge him his taxes.
No, my
Or
brother
parents.
invests in a
Family's
lot
the
of
worst.
property. Yeah, you know what? It keeps me at least knowing something on 1040s. I think it's a good knowledge to have, especially when I'm out educating on tax all the time. I mean, that's what I do. Is education is a big part of what I do. At least knowing that there is some things going on in 1040s or partnerships. I mean, there's so much partnership stuff that I don't know about that I probably should. Just rule changes, and I know this K2, K3. I don't even know. I just know there's something going on, but now IRS is maybe stalling it or delaying. I don't know.
Postponed it.
Is
Yeah,
that what they did?
postponed it.
Yeah. So I know this stuff exists, but yeah, I'm no
the IRS
expert.
decided.
Well, how about this then? How
Yeah.
many people are at Tri-Merit now?
It's 45 to 50. I honestly, every day it seems like we hire a new one. So, new one
impressive.
started today. I know a new one's starting in like a week.
No, but that's very impressive. Think about it. Like, you got only 45 or 50.
I know,
and
the
we know
numbers-
of another firm. They're only
yeah.
about 11 million, and they have 150 people.
I know.
We'll
It's
back
like-
into your numbers, Randy, no matter what you say.
And I know. I figured that was
figure it
coming. We do have fee sharing arrangements with a lot of our firms too. So of that 17, we're not keeping all of that. So maybe 10% goes.
Because
to,
if a CPA firm refers or they send you a client, you just gross up the fee a little bit and give them a commission.
yeah, there's what we'll do is if they don't want it, we'll drop our fee actually. If they do want it, our fee. So it's the same thing for the most part. But yeah, I would
So you
guess.
build in the discount. almost.
Yeah, I would guess 10% of our fees goes to. I'm giving you as much as I can so you can do the math. It goes to fee sharing. Let's say that's a guesstimate.
So-
and we just
so-
brought in
And what's interesting?
Nobody's going to want to come back on after they hear all this.
I'm starting to. I got drip sweat going here. I'm good. But let's get to the
So-
fun stuff.
And what's interesting about your business?
Yeah, I
What's
got
the,
a fun
what's the
one.
fun stuff?
No, this is fun stuff.
What's fun? What's fun about tax?
Well, everything's fun
Randy,
about
tell
tax.
All right. Does your wife call you Randall?
No, actually, never.
Do your parents call you Randall?
No, I mean, once or twice a year, maybe. No.
I was curious because why did you dive right in with Randy, or did you go by Randall at some point early on? Like, what does your CPA certificate say?
Oh, it says Randall. Yeah, my certificate says Randall
This
J.
is a fat.
Yeah.
This is,
Randall J. J's that's a good
J
name.
for Jack,
Yeah,
actually. J's the initial. My dad's name's Jack, so it's Randall Jack Crabtree. I don't know if the Jack's spelled out on the certificate. I probably should. I think it is, actually. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
you've got an interesting practice where you service other CPA firms. So when they have a complex issue, like they need an R&D study or cost set or whatever you do,
Yep.
they come to you. So give us a little pitch for why a firm like mine should never try and do an R&D study or a cost set.
Do you want me to cue the
ourselves.
music and we'll run the ad right now?
Well, so one thing, Jason, is I never sell anything, and so I don't have a pitch. What I do is I educate. When I educate on different services, people see how complicated it is. If I was specifically going to try to scare you out of doing an R&D tax credit, let's say yourself, one of the biggest reasons is IRS just made some significant changes to how you submit R&D tax credit claims on amended returns only right now. And that is you basically have to submit all your documentation for it. What projects qualified, who was working on those projects, what research activities were they doing on each individual projects, what uncertainty were they trying to overcome on each individual project. And so everything based on that individual project needs to be documented with the tax return now. And that company could have 100 projects during the year that qualify. Now you have 100 that you have to have individual documentation on. This is only on amended returns as of now. Everybody that I talked to, at least within our firm, and I talked to some other people at another firm just Friday, they agree that they think IRS is going to turn this into even currently filed returns. And so if you do not submit everything, in the year 2022, you have 45 days to perfect that. After this year, they're pretty much saying, once you submit it, if we say you didn't give us everything, we're denying it, you can't go back. Now, there's going to have to be some kind of appeals process in that, but that's what they're saying right now. So that's the scary part of R&D. credit potential going forward for people that are not constantly working in the industry, because just that documentation requirement is huge. All right, did I scare you?
And there's so I would know. We did one R&D study, and I was like, "This is the stupidest thing we've ever done in my life." And then we outsourced it from that moment forward.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the federal credit; there's state credits.
Yeah.
I found so many mistakes. Like, I'll see an R&D credit on a tax return, I don't see a state R&D credit. I was like, "Oh, this
Right.
firm did it themselves. They didn't know what they were doing."
Yep.
We're gonna get to amend returns for you and get you money back.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you're
Nice.
gonna have to talk to the outsourced firm because we don't do this here.
Yep.
Same thing with cost said. Like, we're not going to do that. And you guys give a nice, not to make this a
sales pitch? No.
ad,
Right.
but you guys give like a perfect PDF of exactly how you put it on the tax return when it's time to do the return.
Yeah. So our deliverable.
That makes it easy on me, which I love.
Yeah, it is. In Excel, we basically created the tax forms, and so when we fill out our credit model, it prints out the
Make it so
forms.
an idiot like me can put it on the tax forms. And
I don't know if I'd say idiot with that beautiful voice. I don't think you could be considered an idiot. So we'll keep that more to a lay person with R&D
He's an
tax
American
credits.
idiot. He loves to lean into that. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay,
it's,
let's get off the firm because you don't know anything about the firm. So tell us what you spend most of your time doing.
in the firm or outside the firm. I'll tell you both.
Yeah.
Well, specifically, you can save the fly fishing
like to
for the
go on
fly
long
fishing
walks?
podcast, but this is a CPA podcast.
He doesn't do
so
fly fishing. Do you
the
do fly
accounting.
fishing, Randy?
I have fly fished in the past, but it's been a long time. I have a fly rod, and I probably haven't used it in 28 plus years.
Sounds like you're a wine guy, so
I'm technically a craft
Scott and I
beer
do
guy.
a wine Thursdays podcast.
Well, that's a nice one. We've had a lot of wine in the last month here, and if I can see a couple bottles sitting around right here. In fact, one of the guys I work with is in Sacramento, and I'm currently in Sonoma County. He came down yesterday, and we went out and had some wine at a few places locally, which is nice. So, all right, what I do in the firm, it's all really marketing at this point is my role, but marketing is CP. I'll do 3 CP webinars this week. One that we do ourselves. One I'm doing for I think it's the National CPA FMA, Firm Administrators Association, something like that, for an administration. So I'm doing one for them. I'm doing one for on Saturday actually this week for a group of like investment advisors that want to know this, so they can just bring opportunities to their clients, and if they can save money, they also have more money to invest as well. So I do a lot of webinars. I do a lot of writing now. Had an article just last week published in the County Today, the week before in CPA Trend Lines. We got one right now that looks like AICPA tax advisor is going to run. So doing that, doing the podcast. Tomorrow I have 3 podcast recordings, 2 I'm interviewing, 1 I'm being interviewed on, and then like with you guys, it seems like I'm doing this a couple times a week with other podcasts, which is awesome. I get to meet people like you guys that I never would have met, without this tool, and it's so cool. It is just so cool. So I do that, and then our business development team, anything they need. They need me to get on a call with them. They need me to get on, and it's been Zoom for the most part for the last 2 years. I always tell them I'm available for anything because I want them to be successful. Obviously, they're successful, we're successful, but I really at this point just looking for help them out as much as I can. So that's pretty much my role. I also last year I put together a virtual conference, the Unique CPA, which is the podcast virtual conference, and I think we had about 350 people registered. We're going to continue that on an ongoing basis. The speakers I get to get on these conferences are just amazing. And again, it goes back to the podcast because I've met all these people through that. And so that's pretty much what I do. I ignore the numbers, which we all realize I do. So if you want me to go, I can tell you why I don't
Well,
get involved in anything else too.
Well,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, give us that because I'm making an observation.
Okay,
That's all
you
I
want to
don't
make
have
your
questions,
reservation?
just an
Because
observation.
maybe I can play off of that too.
No.
No?
It'll be a 12-minute observation.
It sounds like you have figured it out about 5 years ago. What makes you happy? What you like doing?
Yep.
And you leaned into that pretty hard,
Yep.
and it's turned out to be euphoric almost.
It has.
It's like you're living your best life, right?
I am. I shouldn't. I
And-
feel guilty a little about it because it's just I'm having so much
You
fun.
shouldn't feel guilty about that because a lot of people can learn from that. You know, like there are some people that dread being on podcast or talking to people or marketing or just
Right.
anything that like the bigger picture business stuff. And there are some people that relish in it. And it sounds like you found the right person to help guide the business an integratorial way or an
Yep.
integrator type.
Integrator. That's the word. Yep.
And you're the visionary.
Yep. We have a lot of integrators that are great, and I couldn't do what I'm doing without them. I mean, that's just no way. So, all right, is that the observation, or did I cut you off there?
That's it.
All right.
You're good. You're
That's
good.
a good observation.
You know, and it's I usually make those. Yeah, I usually make those observations without a question. It pisses Ackerman off, so you're gonna have to answer it like it was a question.
Well, I'm going to
No,
go
I think
into
that's
my
good. Now tell us why.
Okay, and this is now. All right, now we're going to get deep here for a second. So
Finally.
8 years ago. So it took me 3 years after this event to figure this stuff all out. But 8 years ago, I had a stroke, and once you have a stroke, things change in your mind. I had about 4 or 5 years where my mind was just playing with me, like just freaking out. Is this going to happen again? I'd be at conferences and have a panic attack because I'd feel a little twitch in my head, and people I was with would have to just like take me. They knew I wasn't having a stroke again, but I was sure I was. So that was messing with me for a while. But once I got through that, once I realized I'm okay, I'm not. This isn't going to happen again. Then I started looking at my role within the business, and I think just part of it maybe taking stress off. Although my stroke wasn't a stress related. I never felt stressful that much in work or anything. But just looking at your life and figuring out what's important and what's not important, that's what really made me start to sit back and look at things. And it wasn't an immediate thing. It wasn't like I went, hooray when we decided to change managing partners. It was like, yeah, I'm not sure if he's ready to do this. I was completely wrong. He was more than ready. I was probably fighting it a little bit, but once we did that, and then I saw all this other stuff come into play, and I saw that I could just go out and do this, and I could, be the face of the company out, showing what we do and showing we help people and showing that we're good guys. I shouldn't say guys generically, but good people. That was just huge. So the stroke really, even though it took a few years after that, that's what changed anything. And I'm very fortunate. I'm fully functioning. I have no residual effects, which is not. I like 8% of people that have stroke, I think, is the number, fully recover. So I'm very blessed with that. Very fortunate to have that. But that is really what caused my mindset change to look at things differently. All right, there. I told you, a little deeper.
That's beautiful. So you mentioned that you weren't sure if this person was ready to kind of take over
Yep.
managing partner role. Was it a trust issue? Was it I guess
It
what
wasn't
was
even that. I think it was
kind of
my
the-
mindset of thinking, well, he's not a CPA. He doesn't know how to do this. Not that I did. I think that was part of it. But man, he is so strong on processes and so strong on just the integration, like Scott said, of everything. I mean, in the 5 years since these roles reversed, or not reversed, but changed, we're up 800%. I mean, so it was I think a big part him, but I'm guessing a big part me too, with going into this new role. So I'm actually getting on I have just started putting it together, but I'm going to start doing a presentation at conferences talking about looking at your strengths, self-evaluation, even on a yearly basis, figuring out are you in the right spot. And, I haven't read this book, but I won't quote it correctly, but people always talk about the, right person, right seat, or right person, wrong seat. And then that concept, I completely agree with. I should read the book, because looking at what you do best, what you enjoy doing best, and then using that to build out, certain parts of the business, I think are huge. So I've just started putting that together, but I have my first commitment to have me present that in July. So I'm looking forward to that.
I might suggest doing this without reading the book, because it sounds like you've got it. Like, you can offer it from your perspective, because all that book is I've read it. It's just somebody else's perspective on this and their take and what worked out, and it catches, right? But you might be too heavily influenced on it, and you're already doing and acting on what you've done. So you've done it without the book. You could write the book on it. Almost.
Well, I said I'd read it. I really probably won't, because I honestly don't enjoy reading business books.
Are you an avid reader?
I'll read fiction.
Yeah.
Fiction, but I don't read any business books other than...
I'm the same way.
Yep. Other than What's Your And I know you had John Garrett on your show. I love John's book, and I read that book. And that's like the only, and I don't know if you call that a business book or not, because I use that outside of business, but I use it in business as well, the concepts that he talks about. That's the only one I probably have ever read. Yeah, I wrote John's book. Don't tell anybody, but...
Well, no, he did tell me he didn't have a ghostwriter. He was very open about that. He had to write it himself.
Yep.
And it took him about 2 years, but he did it.
Yeah.
So
he's a great guy. He was our keynote speaker on the virtual conference.
Keynote.
Actually, I'm looking for a keynote this year.
He's awesome.
Yeah. So how did you decide to start your podcast?
It wasn't actually my decision. It wasn't, somebody came to me. We had so the new marketing director we have, we actually had someone before, and she's still with us. She just changed her role in the business. And when she came on, that was one of her ideas was, let's start a podcast. And since I was doing all the webinars and everything already, they just looked at me and said, hey, yeah, Randy will do it. And I'm like, really? I'm going to do a podcast? I don't know how to do a podcast. Conversations. And that's how it started. And we're in the third season now. I know you guys are a lot more prolific than me. We're probably on about episode 60 or something like that, because we're 24 a year. So I think that's about where we are. Or 26 a year, I guess. So it was just not my idea. Yeah. So what? How big's your firm? Let's go. I'm reversing these questions now. What's the top line? What's the take home? What's the head count?
Now this is getting good. This is getting good. This is getting good.
He knows the questions. See,
I wrote them down.
We don't need to talk about it, but we're based in we're just a CPA firm, but we do value-based pricing, no timesheets,
nice,
no titles. Focus on tax returns, do a little bit of bookkeeping.
All right, value pricing. I like it.
But I love the niche. I love the niche of your model because the pricing. It's so easy to explain the value to a client of an R&D study. It's like, hey, you're gonna get $20,000.
Right.
We're gonna charge you $5,000.
Yep.
And anyone can understand that.
That was the biggest thing when I switched from being a generalist to the specialist. All our specialties put money back into businesses, and I get to say, and I don't do it anymore because I don't talk to the clients at all. Really, I talk to the CPAs.
I know.
But I talk to the CPAs all the time. But the clients, we get to go in and we get to tell them. Actually, we don't want to be the hero on this, so we tell the CPA this is how much your client's going to save, and we allow them to go tell the client because that's them. They brought the opportunity. But man, when you're looking at 50, 100, this last year we've had multi-million-dollar tax savings with clients. It's just pretty cool to not have to say, hey, yeah, I did everything I could, but you still owe $250,000 in taxes. We don't do that. I mean, it's all tax savings now, so it's fun.
I know that's very nice. So I guess what's the next credit out there? Like what do we think is going to be your next segment?
I think about that rarely, but I have. There are other energy incentives out there we haven't got involved in. Maybe it's that. The newest one we started working on is the work opportunity tax credit, the WOTC. That one, we're doing some. We want to grow that. The biggest push we have for growth this year, I mean, R&D has always been bread and butter, but the biggest push we have for growth is all the real estate related things we do. Cost seg, 45L, which is credit for developers of low-rise residential property, and 179D, which is deduction for energy efficient commercial property. So I don't know if we're looking at anything new right now, but we're putting a big push on those three areas. In fact, I've got a webinar this Thursday where we're talking about credits and incentives.
This is going to come out in 3 months, so
I know.
you have to go back.
Yeah, I know. I just made this not evergreen. This one that was out 3 months ago, as we listen to this now, was for architect and engineering firms. So it's a big push on the 179D, 45L, and cost seg part of our practice. But if you know any credits you want us to look at,
I don't know what credit. I think those are the big ones, and like you said, there's so many clients that could do an R&D credit they don't know that they qualify. It's best, seriously, if you're a CPA firm, you should reach out to Randy or whomever, and they'll talk to your client for free and give them a estimate. They won't start any work until they know it's going to be beneficial. So why not?
You know our programs, huh? Look at you. Okay, all right. So how much do I owe you for that?
I'll send you an invoice. Don't worry.
All right, you got it.
So before we go, last question. For somebody who's starting a CPA firm, give them one piece of advice, your best piece of advice for them.
Yeah, don't force yourself. Don't force a square peg into a round hole. Like I said before, know what your strengths are and do this self-analysis. I'm going to do this thing online right now where, supposedly this week where it, does this whole analysis of you and what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. I think I know them already, but it'll be good to have it and play on your strengths. You could fill in the weaknesses everywhere. This is my theme. This is what I've been talking about a lot, and I'm going to continue to talk about.
Are you doing the Strength Finder assessment?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but it's something like that. There's it lists your top 5, but it lists 30 others, and there's a name for it. One of our people sent it to me.
That's Strength Finder.
Okay.
Most likely.
Yep. And
it's good. I am 100% in agreement with you. Like, because it's getting your team to buy in on that too. Because someone else on the team will have that strength that you don't. Possess. Yeah, and then to expand on that, Jason, because you just made me think about this, the other thing I like talking about a lot too is then, because we are a niche, not only your strengths, personality-wise, but your strengths and passion, that you enjoy doing, and make that a niche within your firm too, or your firm, just make your firm built around, hey, I love restaurants and everything about them, and so now I'm going to be the CPA firm that's going to cater to restaurants. I love,
cater to, no pun intended.
That's good. I didn't even think about that. And an example that you guys know, I think, is Josh Lance. Josh Lance has a niche in craft breweries. He enjoys craft breweries. He's niche. He is known as the expert. People know if there's a question around tax with craft breweries, let's go to Josh Lance. Josh, 20-person firm, but he's known as the expert out there. So build your build your practice. If you're starting a brand new practice. You already know the name of
my second firm.
Yeah, I do. Token Tax.
You know the name of my new practice. Token Tax.
Does Jason know this?
He doesn't get it yet. It's going to take him a minute to get it. Yeah.
Honestly, it could be a lot of things. And that's the beauty of the name.
Exactly.
It could be Bitcoin.
Do you really not know what token, like smoking token? I know it could be Bitcoin.
I don't. Yeah. I don't smoke.
Wow, this is what I deal with, Randy. This is what I deal with.
Well, so I think
I do tax returns, Randy. I do tax returns. I do not
stare.
I think your niche audience will understand what the name means, Scott. So you should be good.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think that's a great point. It's like, if you have the passion, that passion is going to come through to your clients, and it's going to come through in the work you do.
Some of the bigger firms I know that I work with, and we work with a lot of big firms, they do the same thing. Even though they're this big, top 50 firm or top 100 firm, they don't start working in an industry unless they have somebody that is passionate about that industry. If somebody comes to the managing partner and says, hey, I want to start working in the trucking industry, they'll ask why. And then he explains that for his entire life, that he or she just loves semi-trucks, and it's a passion, and it subscribes to Semi-Truck Magazine or whatever. But now they have a passion there. Okay, let's do it. Let's give, as a managing partner, that's a huge skill to have too. Okay, let's equip this person now to go build this niche portion of our business. I think niche, whether it's within a firm or a firm itself, and building that niche on your passion, that's huge.
Randy,
Right.
You've been amazing. Tell us
The revolutionary Randy.
tell us where to find you on LinkedIn and all these places so people can go listen to your podcasts.
Just LinkedIn in general. My name, Randy Crabtree. I think it's Randy, not Randall. Sorry, Scott, on LinkedIn. And then our website, tri-merit, merit.com. There's, all our contact information's out there. So you can see anything, or just follow me on the Unique CPA podcast or wherever I may be. TikTok coming soon. So
Top 5% in the world podcast.
we're
Let's
shooting
go,
for
baby. I
one.
love
We're shooting
that.
for one. Actually, I got one
Listen,
of
I'll
the
reach for the
1%.
stars.
I got one
Sometimes
of the
you hit the moon or something like that.
one of the top podcasters, I believe, at least on the show tomorrow, which you guys already had on, which is Ron Baker. So he's going to be on the show tomorrow. So he's somebody that can show you how to have one of those top ones, or
Make sure
this
half
delay
of your
is a
podcast
pain.
with Ron is talking about us.
I will for
I
sure.
know.
Yeah.
At least half of it should be on mostly Scott, but a little bit of me. We'll
We'll do it. I'll let Ron know for sure that you guys are the best podcast out there.
No, not the best. A podcast.
Just a podcast out there. That's all we need. Yeah.
We're not,
I'm not
we're
going
not
for the best.
Randy, yeah, we're not like you. We're not going for 1% or the best. We're just going
We
literally.
just want to be out there.
Yeah,
We want people to know of it.
If we release it, that's a win.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
We're like an
this is good.
avant-garde art piece. We're like a Jackson Pollock.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, we've taken up too much of your time. We appreciate all this technical difficulties we've had. You've been amazing. One day we'll meet in person.
The famous Eric Randy Crabtree,
ERC.
the ERC.